Hello, VMware. Welcome to the Sales Acceleration Podcast, the show where we discuss strategies, tactics, and tips to help us close more deals and create better customer relationships. I'm your host, Anthony Wilson, Director of Sales Coaching. I've been with VMware for 11 years in sales and sales leadership roles. I totally understand what you've got to get done, so let's go win together. So today's session, we're going to talk about best practices for leading a remote collaborative account planning session. The topic idea came from a conversation I had with one of our field sellers a couple weeks ago who said, want to get a collaborative account plan session done. However, not sure the team is completely bought in. When I brought it up to members of the extended team, the reaction I got was, they felt like it was going to be another check the box activity. So we said, all right, how can we strategize and make sure that it's meaningful, that we have buy-in, and that it's not just a check the box activity. So let's talk about some ways to get a remote collaborative account planning session done effectively. First, where does it begin? Let's go back to our overall VMware customer engagement and sales process. First, it starts with prospecting. So what's the goal of prospecting? Is to use targeted sales plays and collaborative account planning to create targeted possibilities and manage sales opportunities. That's what helps us build a pipeline in our key accounts. The folks that are going to participate in a collaborative account planning session are going to be the customer's key technology partners, technical account manager, if applicable, sales leadership, and of course, the extended sales team. And again, that's what got this started was, how do I make sure I get the extended sales team completely bought in to doing an effective collaborative account planning session? So my suggestion to this particular seller was, let's break down the three key components of an account plan. And I said, send out this particular slide and ask your extended team to look at each component and say, if we had to do one 45-minute session on just one slide from each one of these categories, which one would it be? So we've got the customer profile slide, the IT org chart, the business org chart, the business and IT alignment framework, and then the application portfolio. All of that is under the customer profile section. And normally you would spend 45 minutes in a live session going through that area. The next would be the VMware footprint, where we spend 30 minutes looking at the VMware footprint and white space, the partners that are involved, and then the customer's satisfaction with VMware based on NPS score surveys. And then finally, the third section is the VMware strategy and action. So each BU specialist would then talk about what they have going on using their value prompter. There'd be a look at the 3-year ambition and strategy for the account. What are some of the key opportunities that we're working on? And then the go forward action plan. So we talked with each other about, again, sending out this slide and saying, hey team, take a look at this, pick one of these categories that we're going to work on from each one of the components. And we said, hey, once they decide which one they want to work in, once you have that buy-in, then set up a series of 60-minute Zoom sessions to go through just that one focus area only. So we said, hey, let's take business and IT alignment, for example. So this is an example of a business and IT alignment framework from a private sector company. We've got the business goals, the associated business initiatives. We're missing the supporting IT initiatives that go with that. And then we have some of the VMware solutions that we would propose in order to get there, but we're missing the IT initiatives. So that automatically leads us down the road of needing to connect the dots with the org chart, needing to find out who everybody's talking to understand what projects this customer is working on that are going to give IT the capability to support the associated business initiative. So just one session could be spent on focusing hard on the business and IT alignment, because that's why the customer is doing anything at all with us. They got to grow top line revenue. They got to cut costs somewhere. They've got to protect the business from risk. There are going to be some associated business initiatives, which are going to be time bound and metric driven, that force them to get things done at a particular time. So the actions they have to take to hit those goals. And then of course, there's a technology component that's involved, and that IT is going to have to come up with some capabilities to help them execute on that. And then where we come in is deploying our solutions that help support those IT initiatives. Another one of the areas that you can work on in just the customer profile section is the application portfolio. And now that we have a modern application platform and we're doing even more with helping customers run legacy apps, re-platform some of their traditional apps into new modern cloud native apps, and our Tanzu portfolio helps with that. It's very critical that we know what's going on with the application portfolio. So you can spend an entire session just on this. If we look at the VMware portion of the collaborative account plan, we had the VMware footprint and white space. So that kind of talks about what they have deployed versus what they just own. We've got the customer satisfaction piece of it. But I think a critical thing, and the seller agreed, were the customer's key partners, right? So the world does not revolve around VMware alone. So we need to know who else is in there. Who are some of the strategic systems integrators and outsourcers that they're working with? Do they have a relationship with Dell, right? Our peer company. Who are some of the other partners that have influence there, either from a procurement side or can help us generate pipeline? So, spending an entire 45-minute session just on working with the partners and then determining some action items from there is another useful way to break down a remote CAP session. Finally, of the strategy and ambition, this is the slide that I would want us to work on as well. And I would hope that his team would buy into, which is, what are we trying to get done with this customer over a 3-year period? So in this particular example, there's a drive to go get $12 million in bookings over the next 3 years. And here's how we're going to go do these things. Each one of these action items then drives some go forward activities that members of the extended team have to go do. And then when we follow up on this on our weekly cadence, that's what's make sure that we're accountable and it wasn't just a check the box exercise. The go forward action plan, very critical. My favorite one, right? So who's going to own what in the opportunity or focus area? What action is going to be driven by whom on the team? Who's the owner? And then we have a date on it. We've got some great tools here at VMware. We've got Teams, we've got Planner. So if you're keeping a regular cadence as a core seller with your extended team, you got to be able to use this go forward action plan to make sure folks are buying in and following up on the things that we discussed in that planning session. At the end, we should have an account plan summary. So this will be the one overall view, one pane of glass, as they like to say, that we would share with sales leadership and even share with the customer, right, in their verbiage as to the overview of the account, what are the key IT initiatives, showing that we have that connection, and then those key opportunities is what we'd be filling in. There are additional resources for collaborative account planning on the CAP homepage. You can find on Vault. There's an email alias to help with CAP. I've got a planning folder that's out there on the page as well. All of these are resources to help you make your collaborative account planning sessions as effective as possible, especially now remotely, since we can't get all in a room together and do it. Don't try and boil the ocean in a 2.5-hour Zoom session. Not going to work. You're going to lose your audience. Spend about 45 minutes focused on just one particular action item. Some key takeaways that I want you to take with you. Account planning is used to build pipeline for out quarters, not in quarter. Do not make your sessions with the extended team a deal review. Folks already have managers that they have to do that with every week. And I think the biggest takeaway is keep the focus on what's possible, not what's probable based on customer history, right? We're working to chart new ground in our accounts. Too often we say we want to do $12 million in revenue in this account, but because they've only always bought about $500,000 at a time, we fall back to what's probable. No. The purpose of these account planning sessions, if you're going to take the time, bring everybody together remotely, is to talk about what's possible, develop the action plans to go ahead and make it happen. The backbone of success is hard work, determination, good planning, and perseverance. Mia Hamm, stick to it, don't give up. All right, VMware, to accomplish great things, we not only got to plan, but we also got to believe that we can get it done. Thanks for listening. If you like this topic or you have other topics that you want to see in future podcasts, drop me a note. Until next time, happy selling out there.